I went through some things that shift my perspective about entire reality. Shifting from a victim mindset to now being self-responsible, being self-responsible for your health, being self-responsible for your wealth, being self-responsible for your mindset and all these different things. So I truly think that the first step to actually stop feeling sorry for yourself is to genuinely understand self-responsibility. This is how actually a boy transitions himself from a boy to a man. He transitioned himself from a boy to a man by sitting down and taking absolute self-accountability for everything. And I genuinely believe that this brings competence. If a boy can sit down at any age and say, you know what, I take self-accountability, I take self-responsibility. This now puts you in a mind frame of, okay, even though these bad things is happening, even though this bad thing has happened to me, I don't have to feel sorry for myself, right? Because feeling sorry for yourself is self-pity. You're a victim to circumstances. Oh, this bad thing has happened to me, so that's why I didn't succeed. This bad thing has happened to me, that's why I didn't go right. No, you need to get out of that mind frame and say everything is my fault, the good and the bad. Even if it rained outside, it's still my fault. If I get touched by a drop of water outside because it rained, it is my fault because I could have brought an umbrella. I could have checked the weather. So you need to operate in that type of way. This comes from shifting and developing your mind. But I do want you to understand that this takes time to develop. But you can start by acting that now. If I tell you this, you start to act this way and act like you're already self-accountable, well, then you become self-accountable, right? And this brings me on to the point of when it comes to women. I had a conversation with someone and I was talking to him. I was saying, because they went through a breakup and they had all different that, and she stole money from him and all this and that. I said, well, take self-accountability. It's your fault. It's not my fault. She took the money from me and this and that and this and this. I said, no, take self-accountability and get self-responsibility and sit and say, I should have never talked to that woman in the first place. I seen so many red flags that I ignored them, that I continued talking to her. That's the point I was trying to make to him, but he couldn't understand with his infantile brain. So you need to understand to a certain extent that everything stems from you. Even when bad things happen, it stems from you. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because if you can be accountable for the bad thing that's happened, let's say you lose some money. If you are accountable for losing money, guess what? When you make money, you're going to be accountable for that. You're going to be happy, right? So I sit around and I'm thankful for the good and bad. If I'm thankful for the bad, of course I'm going to be thankful for the good. And I truly believe that we're all motivated by the dark to a certain extent. I believe that we're only happy to achieve success because all of the times we weren't successful. We're happy when the rain come out sometimes after it being so sunny every day. And sometimes we're happy for nighttime because it's been hot all day. So sometimes we're motivated by the lack of, not even necessarily out of necessity, which a lot of people can sit and say that they're motivated by necessity, but I genuinely believe that we're motivated by the lack, right? We don't want to lack anything. So you need to start to shift your mind and understand self-responsibility is your way out. It's your way out of feeling sorry for yourself. Feeling sorry for yourself comes from a victim mindset of you putting it out to the universe saying it's not your fault, but it is. But once you say everything is your fault, you now been given power to make things change. For example, my girlfriend dying. I said, oh, this is my fault. Oh, how is it your fault? It's my fault. I could have found a different girlfriend. I could have prepared for the future and seen everything beforehand and said, okay, there's a potential she might die in the future, which now I have the experience of going through that. So now I can predict the future if this was to happen again. But I took self-accountability. I said, okay, it is my fault. I could have chose a different girlfriend. I could have chose a girlfriend that didn't die. Even that happened. And then I still sat and I meditated and contemplated and used all the heartbreak and pain and said, you know what? I can do something with this. So by me saying it's my fault, it gave me power. Instead of blaming God, instead of, oh God, why did you do this? Oh, why did this happen? Or why did this happen? Instead of me sitting doing that, I'll sit there and say, you know what? I can use this as power. I can use this as power and make myself greater than ever before. So this is how you stop feeling sorry for the things that happens. It really truly comes from programming. We were programmed to feel sorry for ourselves, programmed to feel content with our circumstances and not want to change. Some people look at their body in the mirror and feel sorry for themselves, but don't use it to change. I genuinely think, in fact, I know this may sound contradictory, but if you feel sorry for yourself, use feeling sorry for yourself to change. If you feel sorry for yourself, that's a signal from the universe, from yourself, and the way that you feel is feedback saying you need to change something. You need to do something. And I also think that you can get out of any rut and stump in life by truly, genuinely figuring out what it is that you want to do. And you figure out what you want to do and you make methods and plans. First, you need to have the belief, but second, you make the methods and plan to do what you need to do every day. So you need to sit down and come up with methods and plans of how to stop feeling sorry for yourself. This is something I can only tell you. These things that I'm telling you is making you think differently, but you have to apply the information. So when I'm sitting here saying, how can you stop being a victim? You need to question yourself. Okay, how can I stop being a victim to myself? Well, I could do what Preme said. He said, just take self accountability for all the bad things. Okay, where am I lacking in life? Okay, start to say, well, that's my fault. But me saying it's my fault now gives me power and motivation to fix it. Because if you blame it on the universe, if you blame it on God, if you blame it on other people, how does that allow you to make it work? How does that allow you to fix it? So what allows you truly to fix it is when you take the power back into your own hands. I'm gonna give you an example. All this conditioning growing up. Oh, if you split a pole, you'll get bad luck. Bullshit. That's putting your power to an outside source. That's you saying that this pole has dictation over my life, and it tells you how people think. They think like victims. They're a victim of circumstance. But to take your power back is to sit and say, no, this pole would not give me bad luck. It's the belief that this pole will give me bad luck. So that's when you start to live truly through your mind. We all live through our mind. So the only way to truly stop feeling sorry for yourself is to control your mind. You need to start to think differently. Start to think about the fact that you have the power to change whatever you want to change. I refuse to sit here and tell myself I can't do something. I refuse to sit here and say that something outside of me forced this to happen and I don't have any control. I refuse to just throw my hands up and let life carry me around. I refuse. So I am the one in control. And that's what I sit and say. I could be out in the desert, in the savannah desert with nothing to my name. And I know for a fact I will get out because I believe that I'm in control and that everything is possible. So fixing your mindset is a component of multiple things, but it truly starts with changing how you speak to yourself. You first have to change how you speak to yourself and start to question yourself. How many times did you doubt yourself? How many times did your own mind betray you? How many times did you skip out on those things which you knew you were supposed to do? Because it all stems from your mind. Feeling sorry for yourself is a mind state, but it's not backed by actual achievement. Once you start to do actual achievement, you'll stop feeling sorry for yourself because you'll start to see that, wait, actually, I can do stuff. I'm actually competent in some areas. And that's another thing. I truly believe developing competence in certain areas, in the areas where you feel sorry for yourself, will counteract it, right? Think about it. I want you to think in your mind an area where you feel bad or sorry for your current circumstance or current situation. I want you to think about that. Hold it. And I want you to now think about if you were to become competent in that area, would you still feel sorry? The answer is no. Why wouldn't you feel sorry? Why? Now you wouldn't feel sorry because you now developed skill and competence in that area. It's like me, for example, when I first started boxing. didn't know how to throw the punch correctly, didn't know how to throw the jab correctly. But you start to feel sorry for yourself because you start to think, wait, it's a level of incompetence where I have to get competent at. But for me, it was me understanding that I'm good at every single thing that I do. So now it's not measuring up to me being as good, as formidable as I am physically. But in my mind, I'm the best at whatever I do, and I always get better at it. But guess what happened? The repetitions over time increased my competence. So what is the point that I just made? Question in your mind. How can you use this principle? How can you use the principle of repetition to increase the competence of where you feel bad? And that is how you'll progress, and that's how you'll propel yourself towards getting out of the rut of constantly feeling bad and sorry. Oh, get out of the self-pity, out of the self-loathing. Start to feel confident in yourself and start to talk to yourself in a certain way where you can develop yourself to a certain level. That's the only way. If you start to develop your mind to a certain level where you're as competent as possible inside of your mind, and then the physical world will catch up with the necessary repetition. So you need to first have the belief in your mind that you can get out of this rut of feeling sorry for yourself. And then second, you do the physical necessary action to make the belief real. That's the second part where people don't do. That's the reason why they keep feeling sorry for themselves, because they never develop the physical competence to make themselves stop feeling sorry. Let's say, for example, somebody who's overweight and they've been wanting to lose weight, but they feel sorry for themselves for not losing weight, but they never do the physical actions to lose the weight. Do you think they'll continue to feel sorry for themselves? Of course. When at the point will they not feel sorry for themselves? Once they start to do the necessary actions and build in the repetition to lose that weight, all of a sudden now they're feeling happy and content and competent with them trying. So start trying to make yourself feel a certain way and watch the competence develop. Watch you get out of that mind frame of feeling bad and sorry. You start to move in a way, wait, I actually can do anything with the necessary physical reps. And that is how you will escape. And the only way to escape is the free Telegram, t.me/Preme Operations. You can join. The free link is in the description. This is like Zion. I'm grabbing everybody off the matrix, off grid, and we're gathering in Zion, which is the free Telegram, which you could join right now. The link is in the description, and I'll see you there.